Hello! So today's video is going to be about Japanese superstitions. This is, I think, 6 or 7 of them. I can't remember exactly how many I filmed. And we're going to be looking at the ones that I think that are kind of uniquely Japanese in a sense. Some of them are shared with China and other Buddhist countries, but in general these tend to be kind of like Japanese focused. So thank you very much for clicking on this video, and I hope you enjoy. So if you're going to visit Japan, or if you've in the past visited Japan, you may notice, or you may have noticed, that the number 4 is conspicuously absent in certain situations. You go to a hotel and the hotel will have like rooms 101, 102, 103, 105. Or you go into an escalator, I keep saying escalator. You go into an elevator and you go to floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, floor 5. It's not as common as it used to be, but it's still fairly common enough that I'd like to mention it in this video about superstition. The number 4 in Japan is considered bad luck. And the reason for this is because if you're watching a video about Japan, you probably know that the Japanese for the number 4 has 2 sounds. The first being yon and the second being shi. And shi is homophone, is that the correct word? It's the same sound as the word for death or dying. So shi to them, if you say it, it's kind of like willing death, you know, to take notice of you or something along those lines. So places will often avoid saying like 4, as we in the West would avoid saying 13, for example. You know, we would consider like Friday the 13th, which is actually this week, if when this video goes out, as bad luck. The Japanese would consider like the 4th of the month to be bad luck also. So yeah, this is why you don't see 4. Similar number actually is 9. 9 is in Japanese is kyu and ku, and also kokono, but that's by the way. And ku in Japanese is the same sound as the word for suffering. So if you have 9, like in your name, it means like to suffer or such, right? So a lot of places will also avoid using 9. It's not as common as avoiding the number 4, but it's common enough that I thought I'd mention it in this video. So yeah, if you come to Japan, like, you know, take a note of this, like as you're going around, as you're exploring, which places are using number 4, or avoiding using number 4 I should say, and also number 9. Side note to this, my birthday is on the 4th of the month, 4th of June, and when someone asks me, like, you know, when is your birthday, and I say that, oh, it's on the 4th, some people, especially like older people and women who are like into like astrology, and that sounds like gendered as hell, but it's the case. You'll just see them like kind of do like this kind of when I mention like when my birthday being on the 4th of June. It's just a something to look forward to if you travel to Japan. So yeah, this is a weird one, okay? This is a superstition that is kind of similar to the number 4 and 9 that I mentioned previously, but well, at least the root is okay. But first of all, right, in Japan, it's considered bad luck to cut your fingernails at night. It's like a strong superstition to not cut your fingernails at night. The reason why is that if you cut your fingernails at night, the saying is, the superstition is, that you won't be able to see your parents as they die, or when they're dying. Imagine like in this situation, it means kind of like if the parents are like sick or ill, and you know they're in hospital, and they're waiting for you to arrive in like their last moments or such, that you won't be able to make it in time, that there'll be like some kind of delay or some kind of problem, and you will miss them and won't be able to say goodbye. That's the superstition. Cutting your fingernails at night means you won't be able to say goodbye to your parents before they die. And the reason why I linked it before to like the number 4 and number 9 is because it comes from this kind of this idea of one word sounding like another word to mean bad luck in Japan. So in the old Japanese, the word for like cutting fingernails, I guess, was Yotsueme, if I remember correctly, Yotsume or Yotsueme, and so that also sounded like kind of like dying, right? So the idea of it is that if you like cutting your fingernails, the word for it, the sounds like the word for dying, so you won't be able to wish your parents good luck in the afterlife before they die if you cut your fingernails at night. A lot of Japanese is like this, and not just for the bad luck as well. You might have seen this where a lot of Japanese people, like especially school children or like people about to take university entrance exams, will go to, or like job interviews or such, they'll go to a restaurant, and the type of restaurant that they will go to will be one that serves katsu, like tonkatsu or something, right? And the reason why is because katsu in Japanese means like victory, it means win. So before having an interview, before having a test, you go and eat tonkatsu or whatever, and it means, or chinkatsu, and it means you will pass the test, you will get the job, you will pass the interview. So a lot of Japanese is kind of like this. If you think of like the superstition, good luck or bad luck, very often it's because of the words sounding similar to other words, which I find delightful, you know, but yeah, anyway. So our next one is, do you like spiders? Like, this is an odd question, right? So in Japan, there's kind of like a superstition surrounding spiders. There's quite a few superstitions actually, but the one I'm mentioning here today is spiders in the house. So generally speaking, I don't mind spiders, okay? If they're outside, if they're just kind of chilling in the trees or like on the wall or whatever, live and let live, you know? If they're in the house though, I tend to be a bit more about them, and so I try to like, remove them or kill them. But in Japan, there's a time of day where it's good luck and a time of day where it is bad luck. So generally speaking, it's the belief is, the superstition is, that if you are in the morning, if you see a spider like in the house, you know, like in the corners of the room or like hanging from the ceiling or whatever, if you see it in the morning, it's considered to be good luck, that you'll have good fortune throughout the day. Some parts of the superstition say like you have to like greet the spider, so you know, I have to say good morning Mr. Spider or something along those lines. But that's like the kind of thing, right? In the morning it's good luck, it's good fortune. In the evening, on the other hand, if you see the spider in the evening, it is considered bad luck. You either have to kind of like remove the spider or go so far as killing it. I don't know why it's bad luck in the evening, but I'm guessing it's kind of like maybe a practical thing, you know, like if I go to bed and there's a spider running about, I don't know where it is when I wake up, but if I see it in the morning, then I kind of know where it is. So I don't know, maybe that's it. I couldn't find a reasoning for this one, and I can't really imagine why. If you can, you know, please suggest a theory, suggest a reason why. But I couldn't think of one myself, but that's the superstition. In the morning, live and let live. In the evening or the night, kill the fucker. Another superstition is to do with, it's going to sound a bit morbid, but it's to do with death and burial rituals, okay? So this is like kind of a combination thing. I'm going to mention two things here about this. So traditionally speaking, okay, when a person dies in Japan, they are buried according to the Buddhist precepts, okay? And is it Buddhist or is it Shinto? It's Buddhist, yeah. And so one of these kind of ideas is that when you die, you are laid to rest with your head pointing north, okay, going in the northern direction. So if you, when you are alive, if you are sleeping, when you are going to bed of an evening and you're having a sleep, it is not a good idea, they say, to have your head pointing northwards. If your head is pointing north, it means you are sleeping like a corpse and you are kind of inviting death or bad fortune towards you. So avoid this, avoid sleeping with your head pointing north. In a similar vein, and this is one that you've probably heard, is that if you go to like Japanese restaurants or such, and you have like the bowl of rice, you don't stick the chopsticks directly into the bowl of rice. It is considered taboo. It is a it's done at funerals, and so like if you do it in just day-to-day life, it's kind of like disrespectful, I guess. But it also invites bad luck. It's kind of, because it's disrespecting the dead, it invites bad luck from the dead. So a lot of like the kind of the funeral practices are also considered to have like superstitious things where you don't do behaviors that you would do at funerals, because it invites death, it invites bad luck, which you don't want. So don't do it. And we have like similar things in the West, but that's the Japanese equivalent. So yeah, on to the next one. Next, have you ever seen this person before, or this figurine before? You've probably seen it if you've been traveling around Japan or Asia. This is a character who in Japan I believe is called Hote. And Hote is basically a Buddha, basically a god, and he is a symbol of prosperity, of wealth, and of fortune. So you might notice like the most striking aspect of this figure is his rather large ears, his oversized ears. Specifically the earlobes are kind of really hanging down, yes? So these long, large earlobes in Japan are unusual, they're not common. And they are said to, if you have them as a person, it is said to attract wealth because you are like Hote. So because of this, some people actually try and stretch their earlobes. I've seen this with like, it tends to be men, weirdly enough, who will do this to try and like, especially like older company or something. I guess in the older generation maybe, but in the young generation not so much. Aesthetics matter, I guess. But yeah, they believe it's a superstition that if you have the big ears, if you have the large ears, then you're like Hote and you will attract wealth and prosperity. The one person I know who tried this is actually the owner of he's the CEO of a fashion company, and that is trading like in all over the world. So maybe it works. I don't know. Have a go, see if it works for you. I personally won't be doing it. The next superstition I want to talk about is a rather funny one. I feel it's funny. So if you are like me, you probably grew up like playing the games Final Fantasy, right? For me, I started with Final Fantasy 7, but I played all of them, and I enjoy all of them up until about 12. 13 was okay. 14, I love 14, but it's an MMO. I don't really consider it a Final Fantasy. This is getting off topic a little bit, but yeah. 15 and 16 they were absolute trash. But regardless, in Final Fantasy 8, there are two characters, Fujin and Raijin. And Fujin and Raijin, their names in Final Fantasy 8 and just in general, they come from gods, right? They come from, Fujin is the god of wind, and Raijin is the god of thunder, right? So it's kind of like thunder and lightning, thunder and storms and such, right? And there's you might have seen them also in Teen Titans, I think. They were villains in Teen Titans, the animated series. But in mythology, in Japanese mythology, those two are gods, right? Fujin and Raijin. And in Japan there's a superstition that is kind of like a child superstition, like one that you tell to children to get them to behave or such. And the superstition is that like if there's a thunderstorm, okay, the child must, if the child shows their belly button, so their navel, if the child doesn't like put their shirt down or lifts their shirt up to like reveal their belly button, Fujin and Raijin will come and steal it. That is, they will steal the navel, they will steal the belly button, so that the child will be left with just kind of like I don't know, like a Ken doll type stomach with like no indentation, with no belly button, I guess. And it's just a weird superstition, and I love it because it's just so, I love the kind of like childish superstitions, like don't do this because like don't suck your thumb, someone will like snip it off or something, like the German superstition, I guess. Yeah, so if there's a thunderstorm, make sure that your shirt is covering your belly button, or the gods of thunder and lightning, thunder and wind will come and steal your belly button. Yeah, I love it. Imagine you're walking down the street and you see a funeral procession. Okay, you see like a body being carried by a hearse down the street. What do you do? So in Japan, in Japan, you have like your fingers and your thumbs. Okay, fingers are called yubi, and this one is called the oya yubi or yuba oya. I can't remember which way around it is. And it means like parent figure or big finger, right? And the thumb is called like the parent finger. So the idea is like when you are walking down the street and you see a funeral procession or like someone being carried in a hearse, you have to take your hand and you put your thumb like so, and then you wrap around so that your thumb is hidden in the hand, okay? And the reason why you do this is because if you don't do this, then as you have your thumb kind of like just like free and easy, then as you're walking down the street and the procession is like going past you, the spirit of the dead person will see your parent finger, your big thumb, and their spirit will zoom out of the corpse and into your body through the thumb, and then you end up like haunted or possessed, or and suffer fortune, or suffer bad fortune or ill fortune or such, until you like see a priest or something. So this is kind of like another death superstition, but yeah, it's interesting, because in the West, we do a similar kind of thing, like we pay our respects, we do like the whole thing, yeah. But in Japan, it's like you put your thumb in this. I don't actually know which hand it is, or if it's both hands. I'm not sure. But either way, it's what is the superstition. So yeah. So that was today's video, talking about Japanese superstitions. This is just a small sample. There are, just like in the West, in the UK, in Europe, in America, there's hundreds, maybe thousands of superstitions that people follow. They also follow the kind of the simple ones, like that we have in the West, where it's like, don't walk under a ladder, avoid black cats, this kind of thing. But the ones I mentioned today, I think are like kind of uniquely Japanese in a sense. So thank you very much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.